Pranab Mukherjee was born in Mirati, Birbhum district of West Bengal on 11th of December 1935. While his initial education was at the village primary school, he soon proved himself to be brilliant in studies and understood money at an early age. Pranab attended the Shivdi Vidyasagar College in Birbhum and then went on to do an MA in Political Science and History and also an LLB from the Calcutta University. In 1963, he became a lecturer, teaching political science at a newly opened college some 30-odd kilometers from Calcutta. And before taking the political plunge, Pranab Mukherjee also worked as a journalist with a local Bengali newspaper named Desher Dak.
He comes from a family of freedom fighters. And the important thing about him is that he's a great scholar. And he is, besides English or Bengali, he knows Sanskrit very well. He has read our scriptures. So it's the sheer depth and width of his knowledge and his scholarship.
Pranab Mukherjee made his Rajya Sabha debut in July 1969. Though he called himself a sort of last bencher in Parliament, his second speech in the House was on the debate of bank nationalization. And listening to the young MP speak was the then Prime Minister, Mrs. Indira Gandhi. By 1973, Pranab was in Indira's cabinet.
I, Pranab Mukherjee, do swear in the name of God.
One of the darkest periods in Pranab Mukherjee's political career came in the 1970s. He was active in Indira Gandhi's cabinet during the emergency and was accused of using extra constitutional powers to wreck established norms and rules of governance. Pranab emerged from it unscathed and rose through the ranks. In 1982, he became the Finance Minister of India. Apart from his long stint in Parliament, he had been on the Board of Governors at the International Monetary Fund, the World Bank and the Asian Development Bank, and was rated one of the best finance ministers in the world by Euromoney magazine in 1984.
I could see him as finance minister, the way he negotiated when the patents law were amended in order to meet the international obligations. I could see how he did his work, reaching out to all political parties. The very personality of Mr. Pranab Mukherjee used to be one of having a strong impact on others. He's like an encyclopedia. He can reel out dates and incidents whenever it is needed, and the way he remembered things. He has a remarkable memory power, and the very persona of this man is something very impressive and very illustrious.
He graduated to a position where Mrs. Indira Gandhi and then Sonia Gandhi consulting him all the time, at least she. And Mrs. Gandhi, I remember when in 1980, when she returned to power, the first thing he was to ask Pranab Mukherjee, look here, now we have to form the government, should start thinking how convene a parliamentary party meeting, so things like that, so we're dependent on that.
Pranab Mukherjee thrived on challenges.
Every election thereafter, so many candidates face so many election cases. So what?
The last-minute parlays,
Government will take appropriate action.
the firefighting.
Did not give constitutional status to Lokpal.
The keeping difficult coalition partners in check. It had all been a normal day's work for Pranab Babu. Pranab had felt that he should have been the one filling up the void that the assassination of Indira Gandhi created. His eagerness to be the Prime Minister after Indira ensured he would be the bridesmaid and never the bride. He quit the Congress and floated his own party, but within a few years he was back in the fold.
I know him personally for a long period. A genuine politician. At a time in the Rajya Sabha, somebody began to speak that Pranab Mukherjee is the Machiavelli in Indian politics.
And when the time came to pick the nominee for the 13th president, UPA chairperson and Congress President Sonia Gandhi chose Pranab Mukherjee. Throughout his tenure at the Rashtrapati Bhavan, President Pranab Mukherjee has been lauded for his familiarity with the country's constitution. Almost in the same way as during his days as Congress's troubleshooter,
he had always been regarded as the Dada. Everybody addressed him as Pranab Da. And he was regarded as Dada because he knew almost everything. And the mastery that he had on parliamentary procedures, on constitutional issues was absolutely remarkable. So when he became the President of India, he, I think, has been one president who has followed the constitutional principles, the conventions, to the hilt. You can never find fault with any action of Pranab Babu of the 5 years that he was the President of India.